How's it going, everybody? RyeSquad here today, and we are back with your Toledo Underdogs and our Underdogs to Champion Series, ready for the 28-29 season. And guys, the team is looking good. We do have one move to make. I do want to trade away Daniil Tarasov. His overall's dropped a little bit. It's probably statistical, some morale stuff. But Jet Greaves and Scott Rotzloff are ready to take the mantle as far as goaltending is concerned. And as you guys can see, these lines look fantastic. I mean, I never thought we'd have this much depth down the center of our team. Being able to get Cooper Lutz is huge as well. I just think the lines with the chemistry is working out great too. We'll touch on the coach in a minute. Defensively, listen, it's not the best, but honestly, if Harold Shaw does grow, Chubarov is insane. Perrick is up to an 85, so he's developing into that perfect middle pairing addition. Kalen Addison, the coach wants him down on the third pairing, so be it. But I honestly think the blue line is trending in the right direction. And then finally, goaltending here, you can see Daniil Tarasov just really isn't it anymore. Jet Greaves, 81, and then down in the AHL, we got 79 Scott Rotzloff, who played well. He's 23, and we want Lincoln Gardner to get a bit more ice time down there. And I did touch on the coach just before, but we are going to continue with Damian Sharp. He's now an A-. He grew, I believe it was a B. Now he's an A-. You can see the power play is still a little, like the special teams, not great, but teaches forwards, coach influence good, teaching good, offense is an A. Really fits perfectly with what we want the team to be and who we want on the team. So as an A-, he's got 2 years left at $2 million. I think he's the perfect coach for now. I'm going to go make that trade for Tarasov, and then let's jump into the simulation. Best offer we have in fine trade is the Winnipeg Jets third rounder from this year. Everything else is a fourth rounder from next year. So I'm going to take this year's third rounder for Tarasov. I appreciate the service, but goaltending is one of those that we've had to wait a while to find somebody. And I feel like we're really, really close. We really got to develop some of this elite goaltending talent we have. But for now, guys, I think we're pretty good. Team is getting older as well, guys, so there are fewer conversations to have. I did talk to the relevant players, and I'm going for X factors. And for some of the guys, I'm going for the zone abilities. Those are the gold ones. Hoping to get a little bit more than just the silvers on Kulik, McKenna, Lambert. Hoping for those guys to develop into true bona fide superstars, top players in the league overall, not just one of the better top six forwards. No, I want them to develop into superstars, dominant forces that are going to help us dominate for years. So I'm asking them to get some zone abilities as well as Rosen and Martone to get some, just some superstar abilities like Cooper Lutz here comes in with Spinorama and it's tricky. So fun player to use, but we'll see how they do. I'm rocking with the coach's lines for now. I found that sometimes my lines don't work as well, so I'm going to rock with the coach's lines. We'll see how it turns out. Hopefully, after the first month or so, things are looking good. You guys know I like to break season simulations into 10-game stretches, and here we go. First 10-game stretch is complete, and we are 6-3-1. Let's take a quick look at the team standings. We're in second. Now, obviously, things can change quickly. 2 bad games, and we're down in 6th, where the Lightning are currently. But, I mean, 4 points behind the Leafs. 6-3-1 for this team. I mean, I'm really pleased with that. Goals for per game is 6th. So obviously Damian Sharp, the coach, really unlocking that offense. Power play percentage up there in the top 10. Defensively, yikes, 3.9 against per game. That probably has something to do with our defensive core being very young, and not really balanced well. But and goaltending, right? It's obviously not doing well. But taking a look at the stats through 10 games, I mean, Brad Lambert, it's got 16 points. It's got 4 on the power play, so he's got 12 even strength points in 10 games played. He's only playing 18 minutes a night. He's winning 63.5% of draws. I think I asked him to get 1,000 faceoff wins. 1,000 faceoff wins. So 140 in on 82 games. Like multiply that by 8. I think he gets about 1,100 if I can do my math quickly. Is that how that works? 1,100 or so. Anyway, he's doing great. Kulik, also having a great season, shooting 22%. I love Gavin McKenna shooting 44%. That's fantastic. If he can keep that up all season, guys, it's going to be the craziest season ever. But Yuri Kulik with 8 goals. 3 of those are game-winning goals, and then 2 of them on the power play. So you'll love to see that because I did challenge him to get the 1T zone ability, which is score 20 power play goals. So he's already got 2. He's on his way. He's on his pace for 16. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, Philip Zadina being a -1. I mean, it's really tight, guys. Chubarov +6, Perek +6. I love to see that. So sticking with the forwards though, Lutz on the fourth line. Obviously the fourth line, you know, having a young kid like Lutz, he's already up to an 83. I might just hit best lines again just to kind of shuffle it as people start to grow and develop. Costa Helenius is getting the nod from the coach. Not right wingers, defensemen. And yeah, obviously defensively things are going well except for the Addison Johnson pairing. Ryan Johnson, would have loved to see him step up a bit more. He's losing morale because of ice time, but he is what he is at this point, right? And that is, to me, a third pairing defenseman. And then in goal, Greaves and Rotzloff. Jeepers, Rotzloff has played in 2 games and has started 1. He's taken the L in 1, I should say. 8 goals against so far in less than 60 shots. So hopefully the defense turns around. I'm going to hit best lines. Let the coach keep going with it. But so far, 10 games done. Looking good. And guys, we're back after another 10, just catching you up. Tied with the Maple Leafs now, just one game in hand they have on us, which is why they're ahead of us right now. But 8-2. Yes, there were some tight games. 2 overtime wins here, 2 shootout wins here, but we're getting points. We're putting up goals. The games have started to get a little bit tighter, right? We're not allowing as many goals anymore, right? 7 against Detroit, but then 2, 3, 2, shutout there, just 1, 3 there, 3 there, 2 there, 3 there, right? So our team is obviously going to be a little closer, like mid threes, low threes probably is where we'll finish out, especially over this last 10 game stretch. That's how it's showing. But the goals are coming, the goals are there, and the team is performing well. We're not going to dive too much more into the stats, but after a quarter of the way through the season, we're 8th in goals for, 17th in goals against, so a massive improvement there. 13th on the power play. The penalty kill needs to improve, and Yuri Kulik now leads the team in points. 30 games done now, 6-3-1 in that stretch. So our first 10, 6-3-1. Then we go 8-2. Now we're 6-3-1. We're still in second in the Atlantic, as you guys can see. I mean, looking at the playoff picture, guys, we're 8 points up on the Lightning with a game in hand. Now, yes, the Canadians have 3 in hand on us, and they could easily be right behind us. But, you know, looking at the rest of the conference, 31 is the first team out, right? So 11 points clear of being out of the postseason. And honestly, I expected to make the playoffs this season, right, because of how deep our team is now looking. But to be winning as much as we are, I honestly didn't see that one coming. Hopefully the goaltenders then get a boost because we're winning games, and the defenders grow because we're putting in points and winning games, and the offense, they get points. And well, one of the things I should mention, I didn't talk about this when I did it, but I did focus on morale. Morale was one of the ones that I was worried about when it came to the season, right? Because, you know, if you guys saw my Pittsburgh Penguins 1-season rebuild that came out last week, morale played a big factor, right? We were down in the 50s. And I'm thinking morale is playing a big factor again, that the team is performing like we wanted it to, like we sort of expected it to on paper. When you have in the mid 70s morale, that's about average, right? Low 70 morale, you're right on track. So to focus on morale instead of offensive awareness and defensive awareness or the shooting or power play or anything that the coach asked at the beginning of the season, I did management morale, team morale, all that kind of stuff. And it was my easy get happy button, right, for everybody to focus on. And I think it's paying dividends, guys. So pretty happy to see it. You can still see the team chemistry is caution. Not really sure why it's caution, but everybody's looking happy. Another new development, guys, that I wanted to touch on. We haven't advanced anymore since that last check-in, but Gavin McKenna, now an 88 overall, and he gets 2 additional abilities. He gets tape to tape and shock and awe. Previously, he had third eye and all alone, and now he's an 88. And I was like, we are now getting a +5. Part of it might be Zazina having puck on a string and skilled up. I wasn't exactly sure what changed. I'm guessing it's McKenna jumping now to an 88. He was an 87. You can see as a playmaker, he's fantastic with his puck control and offensive awareness. Defensively, he's great too. Kulik on his wing, it's kind of all working out the way we wanted it to. Lutz is now up to an 83 as well, but the first line's now getting a +5. I wish I remembered. It's just these things kind of appear. I wish I got a notification or it showed in the progress tab. But either way, you know, Zdina's got X Factor. Everybody's looking fantastic. Defensively, Harold Shaw's now up to an 80 as well. I mean, Ryan Johnson is now replacing Hinola on that middle pairing, and the goaltenders are still doing goaltender things. Got Rotzloff up to an 80. So things are going well. Let's get to the midway point of the season. We did advance 11 games to make it to exactly the midway point in the season for us, and we went 3-7-1. So definitely a bad stretch for us there. It would have been 2-7-1 had I not gone that extra game there against Seattle. And obviously, guys, things are not going to be perfect. We're a streaky team. We're young, very predicated on offense. As you can see, we're 6th in goals for per game and 20th in goals against per game. So obviously, I mean, between us and the Sharks is 0.15 goals against per game. It's really not that crazy of a difference, but obviously we're going to be an offensive team. We're trying to outscore our problems on the blue line. Power play's 13th. That's starting to cool off a bit. Penalty kill still is actually dead last in the league, and we don't necessarily have a ton of those two-way guys down on the bottom 6. We've got a sniper in Lutz down as our 4th line center, so maybe something to look forward to in the future. But for now, halfway point of the season, Brad Lambert continues to be an absolute stud for us. I mean, 60 points in back-to-back seasons. He's now on pace for 92. He's going to blow that out of the water. He might hit his goal mark, but the assist mark is definitely there for him. Philip Zdeno with 43. He's got 11 in goals as well. Yuri Kulik probably not going to hit the 20 goals on the power play that he needed. He needs, 20 power play goals. He's only got 7. If I was asking him to get to 15, he might be able to get there. It looks like Owen Tippett is stealing all the power play goals, though. 9 power play points for Owen Tippett. 9 power play points. Oh, wow. Kulik, only has 4 power play goals. I can't believe I completely messed that up. Gavin McKenna with 40 points in 41 games. It's crazy, guys. We got 4 players, essentially, at a point per game. Owen Tippett. Noah Gregor from our 3rd line. Michelli. Martone's doing well. I did challenge him, I think, to get 40 assists. He's on pace for 30 right now, so I'd like to see him maybe move up in the lineup and develop a bit more for us. Listed as a 2nd line forward. We just have so much depth. Maybe flip-flop him with Michelli, but honestly, I'm not going to touch what the coach is doing right now unless we get crazy negative results. And Cooper Lutz, wow, this guy produces. He is getting power play time, but for him to put up 25 points in 11 minutes per game is crazy. 15 goals. This guy is a born and bred sniper. Like, his shooting, it must be crazy, right? 95 shots in just 11 minutes. Let's take a look at the time on ice for everybody else around him. And you can see he's out shooting so many other players on the team. This guy's got a shot mentality. If I move him up in the lineup, he's going to be a shooter. He's a goal scorer for sure. So in a few years, maybe move McKenna to the wing and put this guy at center with him and Kulik. That could be nasty. But as far as the rest of the lineup is concerned, I mean, Hellenius and Von Barnekow, they're doing fine. Looking at the blue line now, Chubarov and Shaw are a tremendously good pairing. Shaw has 10 goals as a rookie, and as an offensive defenseman, to see him putting on pace for 42 points, I love it. Same thing with Zane Parik here. We got a 2-way defender who's got, 99 passing, 99 puck control. If only that offensive awareness could grow. I would love to turn him into a can I turn him into on ice play style 50-50 chance? Oh, he's okay with it. There's a very risky chance because we need to use overall rating and skating. Or we could turn him into a defensive defenseman, and that requires his defensive category. Let's go with offensive. It's a very risky chance, but I think he could be a nasty offensive defenseman. So let's see. He's going to say no. All right, so I understand that he's not the best skater in the world, right? 84 speed is never going to be good. But I mean, come on, puck skills like that. I guess if EA needs to bring over the puck moving defenseman from ESHL, from World of Shell. We need puck moving defenseman here because he's not really what I mean, a 2-way defenseman. I guess he is. He's more of just a puck mover, right? Guys that get the puck out of the zone, they get the puck back, they get it out of the zone. They're not necessarily creative geniuses like the offensive awareness, but passing and puck control and deking and hand-eye, like he to me is a puck-moving defenseman. He moves the puck up and out of the zone, and he doesn't necessarily, he's not the most creative maybe, but anyway, Ryan Johnson's looking fine. Kalen Addison not looking great. Disappointing to see that. He's signed for 3 years at $7 million. He was our number 1 defenseman at one point. Maybe somebody to be traded if we need cap space soon. We will take a look at contracts now that we're beyond January 1st as well. And then Jet Greaves is continuing to start the absolute majority of the games. 36 games played to the 8 for Wrocław. 2 and 3 for Wrocław. 21 12-3 for Greaves, but you can tell he's not winning us games on his own. Hopefully, Rotzloff continues to grow. In the AHL, Lincoln Gardner is doing very, very well. So we might have our new starting goaltender here in Lincoln Gardner next season. 917 and a 250. He's sub 500, though, which is very interesting. Let's actually just take a look at all skaters. I just want to see how everyone's doing. Alex Nylander doing great. Noichev, Marshall Dolan, who's a low top 6. Ooh, actually looking pretty good. We've got then Eklund. Yeah, everything's looking fine here. Nobody's popping off. None of our low elite guys are really dominating. Mika Pikkarainen. Wow, did I just rattle that off actually correctly? I don't know. I hope I did, because would be pretty cool if I did. And I'm looking at our low elites. They're actually developing. Tuomo Ristolainen as well. Developing. I mean, these guys are just getting ice time, and, maybe, just maybe, these guys could be top contributors in the future. And speaking of the future, we got to take a look at our contract situation. So let's go ahead, view the contracts, and see who's expiring. Last time I checked, Isaac Rosen was asking for like $9 million and didn't want to come back. He still doesn't want to come back, but let's take a look. What would he ask for? 1 year at $6 million. I mean, honestly, 2 years at $6 million, I think would be the contract I would want to offer him. And if he's going to accept that, 2 years, $6 million, right? I don't know if he's going to develop into anything, but 2 years at $6 million, I feel like is completely fine. We only have $7.5 million in extension dollars remaining. We do have an additional $7 million on top of that. And I think I would like to give that to Michelli. That's my guess. I mean, Consta Helenius needs a contract extension, so we may need to move on from Kalen Addison. His $7 million is going to hurt next season for what he is. And I mean, we're looking at less than $6 million for Matthias Michelli here. So I think this is the guy that I'm going to want to sign. Get him until his 30. Perfect middle 6 winger for us. Isaac Rosen, I'm worried it does have the potential to grow and develop. He was asking for $9 million earlier. Now he's only asking for $6 million. I think I want to bring him back. Another perfect middle 6 winger for us. And there we go. So I am going to offer him this 2-year, $6 million deal, because that's what he's asking for. Can I go down a bit? He loves the contract. Hold on. Oh, okay. So I might be able to get him for a little bit of a discount. 5.7. I think before, his maxed out contract. He likes the contract the most at 2 years at 5.6. I would absolutely do that. In spite of not wanting, okay, he's going to get back to us fairly quickly on that one. He's not going to just smash the accept button on that one, but, hopefully he does decide to come back. And then in goal, we've got Jet Greaves expiring, but I think it's okay to move on from him, because in the system, Gardner, medium elite, having a good season down there. Main roster, Scott Rotzloff, medium starter potential, looking good there as well. And we should be able to keep rolling here, guys. I'll let you know after the next 10 games what happens with Isaac Rosen, but we're in a good spot. We're in a playoff spot right now. Just a reminder on that one, we've fallen into the wild card after this stretch, like I said, but the good news is, if you take a look at the Eastern Conference, we are still 8 points clear of the Senators for being out of the playoffs. So hopefully we're able to bounce back a little bit. 51 games in now, we are still hanging on to a playoff spot. Now only 5 points ahead of the Senators. We're not really taking advantage of our great start. 4-5-1 over this last 10 game stretch. You can see we're still, we're actually giving up more goals against per game. It was like 3-3, I think, at one point. Now we're at 3-4. Power play is really regressing down to 16th. And the penalty kill is still last in the league. Lambert still doing well, as you guys can see, 57%, or 57 points, excuse me. And then the locker room chemistry is 70%. So we're still hanging in there in chemistry. We're operating about where I expected us to be, a wild card team. The hot start got me excited, but we just hang on to the playoff spot. Just a few games before the trade deadline now, 3-6-1 in our last 10, and we're hanging on to the final wild card spot over the Boston Bruins and the Philadelphia Flyers. So this game coming up is huge. 30-26-5. The Flyers obviously have fewer games played than us by 2, so being able to beat them here would be massive. Taking a look at the team performance, the offense is slightly cooled off. The power play has jumped back, 12th now at 20%, so anything over 20% I'd be satisfied with. Penalty kill still 32nd, 73.6%. This is going to be interesting, right? We got strength versus strength here. Philadelphia is a defensive team, as you guys can see, second in goals against per game. Obviously our offense is our strength, but they don't score, and we can't stop anybody from scoring. So we're going to see what is it that really tells the story of this game against Philadelphia. But guys, I don't really know what else to add to the team. Let's take a look at the stats. Through 61 games, 67 points for Brad Lambert. Gavin McKenna has significantly cool. That top line is really now a negative. Yuri Kulik with 6 power play goals, so he's probably not going to get there. But 23 goals, 53 points. Philip Zadina is doing well. Owen Tippett, big plus for us. You can see that the defense is actually looking really, really good. Gavin McKenna, Yuri Kulik, yeah, minuses with Zadina. Lambert, though, with Tippett, doing well. They are playing with Michelli on that second line. He's not really putting up points, so I'd like to see him contribute a bit more. Then we've got Martone, Martone, Gregor, and Rosen. Rosen, 26 points. Don't like to see that after I just gave him a $5.6 million extension. He did accept it, by the way. Cooper Lutz. I mean, honestly, for a fourth line player, he's an 83. He's looking really, really good. I really have nothing else to say about that. I mean, that's impressive for as little as he's playing to have 17 goals. That bottom line, though, that fourth line is a minus. So really, it's the top line and the bottom line that are our weakest links here. I got to get rid of Kalen Addison. I think I do. His contract is practically albatross territory at this point. He's probably not going to hang on to that 85 very much longer because he's losing morale due to ice time and recent individual performance. He's not necessarily loved by a ton of guys, as you can see. I am worried about chemistry. He doesn't have a lot of teammate chemistry. He's not happy with his individual performance, but he's very happy about the team performance. Heinola, I mean, we'll see. What has he got? 3 years left at less than $3 million. Losing morale because of individual performance, and I think it's because he's tied to Addison. I think what I want to do is probably move on from Addison because he's got the worst contract. Yes, he's the better player, but worse contract. And maybe just get a more solid, maybe a defensive defenseman. We'll see what's out there. Obviously, I'm going to have to downgrade Kalen Addison. Obviously, I can't acquire anybody above an 80 overall. So we'll see who's the best 80 overall player that fits. I mean, honestly, Jack Thompson stepped in last year and did fine. So if I can't find anybody, he's going to come back in. And the goaltenders, well, they still aren't very good. So let me get to the trade deadline here with you guys because, I mean, this is a huge game against Philadelphia. I'm sure you guys really want to know how that's going. So Columbus, too, is another team that I should honestly be talking about. They're right behind the Flyers. And then Boston. Boston is another. Yeah, these are 3 huge games, guys. We gotta win these games. If we can get hot right now, Philly, Columbus, Boston, 3-game win streak, head into the deadline. I feel really, really good about it. The teams are trying to offer me trades. I don't want that one. A big 2-1 win. We do lose 6-3 to Columbus, but we're still hanging on. Actually, this might be a rivalry match against Columbus, technically. But we are hanging on to that final spot. We're tied with the Bruins on points. And the Blue Jackets have 64. So we started to distance ourselves from them, even though they pulled up on us a game or some points, I should say. But here we go. This game against Boston. I'm going to sim it so we know the result before we jump into the trade deadline. But here we go. Let's simulate the game. I haven't done this yet in this series. Here we go. First period. Nothing. We've played a little bit more defensive lately. I know that Flyers game, we played their game and won. Columbus kind of got to us. Let's see if we can bounce back here against Boston. Period number 2. It's 2-2. Kulik with a power play goal, and then Konsta Helenius scoring on the 4th line. Pasternak, and then Pavel Zacha. And in the 3rd period, Pasternak scores on the power play, so our dreadful penalty kill comes back to bite us. And that's a big one because I think as we get to the trade deadline, we are on the outside looking in for the first time this season. Yes, we are. In fact, 2 points behind the Boston Bruins. I want to be a conservative buyer. Let's enter the deadline. Move on from Addison because he's been brutal for us. I mean, I would love one of these guys. Obviously can't get them because they're above an 80, but we'll take a look. We'll look through it here. First things first. Well, actually, you know what? Let me see who's available. I'll come up with something, and then I was going to say let's trade away Addison first, but maybe I could use him in that deal, and the team would want him more than anybody else. But let's take a look. So I think we found our first trade. I'm going to go after Ilya Lyubushkin. He's 34. He's 80 overall. He's a defensive defenseman. He looks terrible offensively, but he's playing for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are about the same type of team as us. And he's a +12. So he's a benefit to the Blue Jackets, who are right in the wild card race with us. and he fits in defensive pairing 3. So I don't see why I would not give up a next year's 5th to make this trade. So there we go. Ilya Lyubushkin, welcome to the Toledo Underdogs. All right, guys, and Kalen Addison, like I said, I'm going to shop him for $7 million at 85 overall. I don't think it's worth it for the next 3 years. This trade with Boston, they want to give me their next year's first. And Boston is a team that, I mean, obviously they just stole the spot from us in the playoffs, but to give up a first, I mean, from next year, that's the big thing. I think next year, maybe they could get worse and miss the playoffs. Potentially could be a lottery pick. So I think this makes sense. We got another guy instead of Addison. I like this deal, so I'm going to do it. Next trade I'm looking at is I'm going after a prospect. I don't want any real big names. Nobody huge, right? Nobody added to the roster currently. Maybe a 4th line forward. I'm looking for that still. But Tyler Lavin here, 6'4", 19 years old, medium top 6 at 78 overall, 2-way forward. Looks, I mean, built, well-rounded, was a first-round pick, fits currently the 3rd line, which is exactly where he'd slot in the future. I mean, he's got room to grow. He's young, and it would cost me 2/3 from this year. Reminder, we have a 1st, a 2nd, and 2/3 remaining after this deal. So that would be, we had 4/3. I don't think I'm going to find a guy that's going to be this good, this close in the 3rd round picks, or in the 3rd round with either of these picks. So we're going to make this deal. Thank you, Columbus. We're just adding to that pipeline. The next trade I'm going to make, guys, is we're going to bring in Brendan Lemieux, the grinder from the Carolina Hurricanes. It's going to cost us a 7th next year. I see no reason not to do this. He's a 79. He might be a little bit better. I'm not entirely certain about that, but he's a bottom 6 forward, penalty kill line 2. He hasn't played for them at all. In the NHL, though, you've seen he's been okay in the past, in the couple times that he's been in the simulation, right? So it's really been an AHLer, but I mean, for depth and another option for our coach to use, I feel like a next year's 7th is totally fine. So we are going to have to send Lavin down, but that is fine by me. So guys, I had to laugh. I was going to say, I thought he might have been on our team in the past, Brendan Lemieux, but I went, when I looked through and I saw his historic stats, he was not there. I then saw that Brendan Lemieux was still there for the Carolina Hurricanes, and I was like, did a glitch happen, right? Sometimes they accept the trade, but it doesn't go through. Here he is again. Different overall this time, 82 overall. And you can see this is the Brendan Lemieux we used to have. So this version was very not good. Minus 39. He was probably playing way more than he should have, but so we got the other version, the cheaper version. So he snuck his way into the simulation twice, so I don't know what's going to happen here, but it's going to be interesting to see if we ever play Carolina, what happens. So nothing so far to note on the forward core, other than Gavin McKenna now got another X Factor ability. He's listed as a first-line forward. It's bounce back, great recovery from injury, which, cool. I mean, the injuries are technically on, but we'll see. He's only 16 assists away in 18 games from getting the gold zone ability with 60 assists for third eye. So that would be nice. But taking a look at the rest of the line, I didn't miss anything here. Okay, cool. Defensively, Ilya Lyubushkin is now getting us a +1 on the 3rd pairing with Heinola, as the pair. So hopefully this helps Heinola out. The -15 isn't great, but obviously Lyubushkin is exactly what you need for your 3rd pairing. Maybe a guy that, we could even bring back for a year. And then Harold Shaw, I mean, 84. The guy was at a 78 when I started the season. He's now up to an 84. He's having a tremendous time playing all that ice time. A good skater, passing, offensive awareness is great. I mean, this guy's a stud, right? So including the games before the trade deadline, we are 5-5 in the last 10. Now with 10 games to go, we are 5 points out of the playoffs. We've dropped as low as 7th in the division. It's a crazy tight division, right? The Leafs really aren't running away with it. I mean, they have 96 points. They've got 12 games to go, so they could certainly touch 108, something like that. But listen, we just got to catch the Bruins. We are 1 game in hand. We win that. We're only 3 points behind the Bruins, but that's what I'm focusing on. I think the best team that's not in the playoffs. Okay, the Islanders might be there. So, I mean, we're going to have to simulate game at a game here, and I'm just going to keep you guys with it. It's going to be tight. We might make our first playoff appearance. This Boston game is going to be huge. The Flyers probably isn't going to be as big of a game. Ottawa is going to be a big game for sure. Montreal, they're actually a really good team. Yeah, I'm just looking through here. So Carolina, Minnesota, and Tampa Bay, those aren't the most important in the world. So let's get through these 3 games, see how we do. We're gonna need to pick up points and points in a hurry here. We do pick up a point there against the Carolina Hurricanes, 2 points there against Minnesota, so that's 3 out of 4 that we needed. And then against Tampa Bay, what are we gonna do? We are going to win that one in overtime, so that's 5 of 6 now in crunch time. This team has not been in a position to do this pretty much the entire time, and it's trial by fire. Oh my God, that Bruins game is going to be massive. We are 14 points behind the Canadiens, 15 points behind the Panthers, so those aren't as important. Let's get up to this Ottawa Senators game. Let's keep this. We've at 5 out of 6 points, 7 out of 8 points right now. Let's go. Against Florida, we're going to pick up a point, so that's 8 out of 10. We're at an 800 points percentage. In a must-win situation. With 2 games in hand, we have a better points percentage than the Boston Bruins. We can't catch the Lightning. We cannot knock them out of the playoffs, but that Boston game is looking massive. And I'm sure the Senators are actually now 8 points behind us. Philadelphia is 4 points behind us. So let's get up to this Philadelphia game. Against Ottawa, we are going to win that one as well. So we've gotten 10 out of 12. 10 out of 12 points when you need it. That's huge. And we've leapfrogged the Bruins, who only have 3 games left, might I add. And we're ahead by a point. So we have 5 games left. Can we beat Philadelphia? Let's keep this going. We can't. The good news is, oh my God, this Boston game is an absolutely massive, massive match. I'm not going to slow sim it. We're just going to keep going. Simulate up through this day. And against Boston, we are able to win that one. That's a huge win. 3 points and a game in hand against the Bruins. We've hit 40 wins for the first time in this series. Let's go ahead, take a look at the box scores, boys. Oh my goodness, what a huge game. It was a grudge match too. Who are the 3 stars of the game? Martone with 2 goals. McKenna and Zadina both with a goal and an assist. Taking a look at the Toledo stats, Zadina, Rosen, Martone, McKenna with multi-point nights, Gregor, Kulik, Von Barnekow with a point, Hellenius scored. That's what you want to see. And then in goal was Scott Rotzloff, 25 of 27, 926. Oh man, what a game. That's what you needed, right? The game-winning goal was Consta Hellenius. And whoo, man, let's keep going. Let's keep going here. I'm feeling good. Just don't drop the ball now. Let's get to this Toronto game. Let's see if we can clinch it. I think a win and we would clinch it because they couldn't get 5 points out of 2 games. Even a loss might clinch it for Boston, I might add. I thought that was us because we made the playoffs. We do get an overtime loss. We pick up a point, and that might be all we need. Coach Damian Sharp set out to make the playoffs this season, and we're now officially clinched a spot. The team is ready for the challenge ahead. I'm noticing that now you can ask the coach for their season goals, and then you get management morale and influence XP to help your coach grow. So there we go. Clinching a spot is a fantastic achievement. For the first time in this save, we have clinched a playoff spot. Yes, it's going to be by the skin of our teeth. Yes, we're going to be the 8th seed. No, I do not care. Wow, we are gonna. What are we? And we lose to Toronto. We get shut out. That's okay. And then against the Columbus Blue Jackets to close out the season, an 8-2 win, 6-2-3. No, 6-1-3. That's 6-1-3 in our last 10 games. 2 losses. Okay, so 2 losses there. What is it? 5-2-3 then? Am I counting a win wrong? I don't care. Whatever it is, we're in the playoffs, boys. We did it. Let's go recap the season. Okay, hold on. You know what? You guys have seen it before. Just gonna save the game. Overwrite the curtain. You know what? Not messing with this. You guys have seen it crash before. I'm not messing with it. We made the playoffs. Look at the team leaders. Brad Lambert is a stud. Brad Lambert is an absolute stud. A swing on a low elite, and it's going to pay off. He's an elite player in the NHL. 90 overall, second line forward. He is a two-way machine. Just a shutdown guy, plus 26. Yuri Kulik finished with 9 power play goals, but 30 goals overall on the season, 73 points. So he is not going to hit his 20 power play goal that I challenged him for. Neither is Gavin McKenna going to hit his 60 assists. He came darn close, but 89 now and is going to continue to grow. Philip Zadina has been here since day one, 88 overall. Still has not finished with a positive plus minus, but you know what? It is what it is. That's crazy. I can't believe it. 70 points, 20 goals this year for Philip Zadina. Owen Tippett brought him in via trade. He was disgruntled in Philadelphia. Damian Sharp was in my office pounding the table for him. And my, oh my, was he right. His first full season here in Toledo, and he is doing fantastic. You can see that in, 104 career games. He's got 85 points. That's pretty darn good. I'll take that, and 36 goals as well. Absolutely. Matthias Michelli, 56 points. Another guy we acquired who was, upset with where he was. Gregor. I mean, honestly, guys, I don't even remember where he came from. Straight up. I don't remember acquiring him. I don't remember trading for him, signing him, whatever. He doesn't like our head coach. That's interesting. He prefers Tuzolino, but I don't, because Damian Sharp made us, took us to the playoffs. So, Porter Martone, 51 points from this guy. I think I challenged him for 40 assists. He underperforms everything I set for him. So I'm just not going to set any more goals for him. How's that sound? Cooper Lutz, though, 40 points in his rookie season, playing on the fourth line, is an 83 overall. I mean, he's looking fantastic. I don't think I challenged him for anything because I was worried about it, but Isaac Roseanne with 33 points was even, but a third line, I'd like to see him do a little bit better. Of course, I'm not going to hit the assist mark. And then Hellenius and Von Barnekow. I mean, those are two guys that were in the system. They're doing just fine. Taking a look at the defenseman, Harold Shaw does lead the way in points, followed by Gustav Chubarov. Both of these guys, half a point per game. 20 goals for Harold Shaw. 20 goals for this offensive defenseman. He's got a shot. He's a shooter. We have got a tremendous defenseman on our hands here. And a pairing that for years to come, a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old, guys, we are looking good on the blue line. And blue liners are usually something that I struggle with developing. Perrick here looks great. I mean, obviously, those stats look fantastic, but I'm kind of reminiscing on this team right now because, I mean, I'm never going to forget these guys. Ryan Johnson, and then Ilya Labushkin comes in. I think he was a -2 in 18 games. And honestly, after the deadline, bringing him in with Hinola on that bottom pairing, I think he really stabilized the bottom half of this roster, and the team just really caught fire when they needed to. And then the goaltenders, still one of those areas where we need to improve upon. But Scott Rotzloff, hey, he might be the starter in the AHL. Lincoln Gardner, 80 overall. Yep, he's gonna be the starter next year for sure. And Tikhonov got some running, medium starter, 66. But let's stick in the NHL for now. I mean, what a season, guys. Honestly, what a season. I don't think we're going to get any awards for anybody. Goalies as far as wins. Stuart Skinner, good for him. Jet Greaves might be up there, but holy cow, this is what elite players do. McKinnon, Matthews, Marner, McDavid, these guys, this is crazy. 120 points. So 92 from Brad Lambert is nowhere near these guys. And then Austin Matthews, 81 and 82. Austin Matthews scored 81 goals in 82 games. That is crazy. Taking a look at defensemen, Adam Fox with 106. And Harold Landry might have tied, or Harold Shaw, not Harold Landry. Harold Shaw is going to tie the lead in goals this season. That's awesome. And then in goaltenders, where is he? He's probably not up here because he split too many games down the stretch. But what a season from us, guys. This is awesome. I'm just so happy. If you guys can't tell, obviously I'm just gushing over this team like we won the cup or something. But look at that, 90 points. It's a pretty low number, to be honest. Usually you want to get in the 93, 94 range to really feel confident. Obviously Tampa Bay with 98. Our division was very, very tough. I did say the Leafs could get 108. They got 112. They got 16 of their remaining, I forget how many games they had, but 16 of 24 maybe. Goals for per game, 3.54. Goals against per game, 3.41. So on the plus side there. Power play percentage was 20%, which is pretty good. Penalty kill percentage, it almost hit 75%. That's not too bad. And then the home record was okay, but the away record was much better. So we were, I guess, maybe playing more loose, but 6-2-2, 6-2-2. There it is. There's the record. 6-2-2 to punch our ticket to the playoffs for the first time, guys. I am stoked with how this one went. And we will be playing the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. That is the 81-goal Austin Matthews-led Toronto Maple Leafs. So I don't know if the playoff episode is going to be very quick, but I'm going to enjoy every second of it, guys, because we finally made it. We stuck with this series. It's been fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, because now we got our dividends. But that's all the time I have for this one. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see some more. And I will see you guys in the next one.
It's a free for all, free for all.